Hi everyone, so today we're going over the polls that we've been getting from today, Thursday the 4th of October. We already have some polls for Friday the 5th of October, but we're going to be going over the polls from Thursday. So first, we have the Senate election between Bill Nelson and Rick Scott. Again, Bill Nelson coming back from a time where he was not doing too good in this kind of period, but now he's kind of come back and been doing much better in recent polling. Still just 1 point separates Rick Scott and Bill Nelson. It's still pretty good news for Bill Nelson. So you can see he was leading in the very beginning, then Scott took the lead, and in recent months it's narrowed down and Bill Nelson has taken the lead. So very interesting race. Overall good numbers for the Democrats, but it could be better. Like the 7-point win could have been better. Another very hotly contested race, Tennessee Senate race, Blackburn versus Bredesen. In the latest Fox News poll, Blackburn leads by 5%. That's pretty good news for Marsha Blackburn, considering that Phil Bredesen was nearing a 10% win back in the earlier days of this race. It's looking really interesting race here in the state of Tennessee. You would probably give a slight lean over to Marsha Blackburn. If you look at the Indiana Senate race, new Fox News poll, Donnelly up 6 points on his Republican challenger, but there are a number of undecided voters, 43 to 41, not the best for Joe Donnelly, considering that because it is a Republican state, there are likely to be a lot more Republicans out there, and especially considering how Joe Donnelly is going to vote on the Kavanaugh confirmation, Mike Braun could rise in the polls on Election Day. In the Missouri Senate race, very hotly contested, Fox News poll showing a tie. It's really interesting how we keep getting these super razor-thin margins from this state. This is going to be one to watch. In North Dakota, really bad news for Heidi Heitkamp. Is making a very difficult case for Heitkamp to win in the state of North Dakota. And I'm about to make a bold move to my election map. So the very beginning, I had this as a tilt Republican state. Once we got consistent leads for Kramer in the 4-point margin, I moved it over to the leaning Republican column. We now have 2 points where Kramer is leading by double digits. I'm moving it into the likely Republican column. Yes, in Democratic wave year, Heidi Heitkamp loses by a likely margin in North Dakota. That is really bad news for Heitkamp and the Democrats if they want to have a plausible shot at retaking the Senate. So North Dakota now is solidly going into the Republican column, more than Texas, which is very interesting to say the least if we go. So very interesting, looking really bad for Heitkamp at this point in time. And that's probably why she voted no on the Kavanaugh confirmation, considering she knows that she's going to have almost an impossible chance at her re-election. She does have a chance, but it's getting very unlikely now. New Fox News poll out of Arizona, Kristen Sinema up 2. But again, there are a number of undecided voters, and those undecided voters could benefit Martha McSally. But Kristen Sinema, pretty strong candidate on the Democratic side. Not the best, but it's pretty good to have a centrist Democrat in a state like Arizona. In the state of Michigan, we have the Senate race. Debbie Stabenow up 18 points over Republican challenger John James. Great news for Debbie Stabenow there. More great news for Carl Dean. Bad news, for Carl Dean. Great news for Bill Lee. A great performance in the polls, up 17 points in the latest Fox News poll. Great news and it's not even an incumbent, so great news there. But this is where really great news is for the GOP. In the same block of voters that voted Sinema up 2, the same voters, voted Doug Ducey plus 18. That's really impressive for Doug Ducey, considering that Garcia actually led in a very early poll done by Gravis. Now we have more consistent polling showing Ducey up, and he's increased his lead since the beginning of the month. Ducey +3, +4, +8, +12, +18. He's increasing his lead, and David Garcia doesn't have much of a shot. And I'm making another big move in my 2018 governor map. I'm actually moving the Arizona governor race from leaning GOP to likely GOP. Not California, no, that's still safe, but Arizona in the likely GOP column. Great news for the Doug Ducey, the Republican in that state. Looking at the governor race in Arizona, good news for the Republicans there. But good news for the Democrats in the state of Michigan. Whitmer up 12 points. That's phenomenal for her. I mean, very good news for the Democrats in the state of Michigan. Could spell bad news for Trump going into 2020. If we look at the South Carolina governor race, yes, it was done by a Republican poll Trafalgar group, but Henry McMaster up 14 points, and he is over the 50% mark. Pretty good news for the GOP. Could have been better though. If we look at the Michigan 8 district, looking not the best signs for re-election for Mike Bishop, but at the end of the day, it looks like he's going to go on and be re-elected United States House of Representatives member from Michigan. This is the district that Republicans are having a run for their money. This, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this could be Martha McSally's seat. Don't quote me on that, but if we look at the House, if it's going to load, in Arizona, the 2nd district, yeah, I believe this is Martha McSally's seat. So it's very interesting to see those numbers. Up 11 points on the Republican there. So great news for the Democrats in the state of Arizona. More great news for them in Minnesota. We have the Republican incumbent, where the Democrats are giving them a run for their money, and she's up 12 points on the Republican incumbent, which is phenomenal. I mean, that's unheard of with an incumbent down 12 points, which is very, very good news for the Democrat in that state. In the 2nd district of Virginia, Scott Taylor, the incumbent, up 8 points on his Democratic challenger. Great news in the 2nd district there, but bad news in another district for the Republicans. Jennifer Wexton is up 7 points on the incumbent Republican Barbara Comstock. Jennifer Wexton looking great signs to go on and be the next congresswoman from Virginia. If we look at the Florida 16th district, Vern Buchanan is up 9 points on his Democratic rival, David Shapiro. It is a leaning GOP seat, but overall, it's looking, in today's batch of polling, it's looking pretty positive for the Republicans and Democrats in different races. Just to give you a little bit of a sneak peek for tomorrow's polling, we have the 10th district in California, the 22nd district in California, a lot of California districts, a lot of them hotly contested, a lot of them with Republican incumbents that Hillary Clinton won, including a hot one that's being talked about by progressives, the 50th district with Duncan Hunter. We also have the 49th district, the 48th district, the 45th district, 39th, 25th, 22nd, and 10th district. All of them are looking very, very interesting signs going into 2018. Thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I'll see you all in the next one.